Welcome everyone to season 6, episode 5 of the Focus TV. We're joined tonight by Octavia Wyatt. We have Raymond Lyons, Cardo Dudley Jr., Wilson Thomas Jr. As always, we got some things to get through. Octavia's going to update you all on the very last week of NFC East regular season. Playoff football's here. The Wizards are doing Wizards-like things. Ray's going to tell you guys exactly what those things are as of late. Cardo and I will update you guys on what's going on in college basketball within the area. We're going to have some rapid fire, and I look forward to seeing what Cardo has for us in that section of the show. That said, we'll start off with Octavia in the NFC East.
Okay, so before we start talking about the NFL, I just want to say that Damar Hamlin has been released from the hospital in Cincinnati. He's back in Buffalo, so glad to hear about that. That was just something that was weighing heavy on my heart. So I'm glad to see that young man's doing a lot better. As we all know, what happened a little bit over a week ago on Monday Night Football. Outside of that, it was NFC East versus NFC East this week for the final game of the regular season. The Dallas Cowboys played against the Commanders, and the Eagles played against the Giants. I'm gonna keep it kind of brief because a lot of it didn't really matter. There was just a couple of points from each game. The Cowboys played the Commanders. The Cowboys lost to the Commanders. Dallas had 6. Washington had 26. Dak Prescott was 14 of 37, 128 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception, 6 carries for 16 yards. Malik Davis had 5 carries for 19 yards, and CeeDee Lamb had 5 receptions for 52 yards and 1 touchdown. On the other side, Sam Howell was 11 of 19, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Jarrett Patterson had 17 carries for 78 yards. Terry McLaurin had 3 receptions for 74 yards and 1 touchdown. Probably just the biggest thing with this game is that it was a surprise because Dallas did play mostly, if not all, of their starters, and the Washington Commanders, did not play or start Carson Wentz or Taylor Heineke. The third string rookie quarterback Sam Howell got his first action of the season. It did pretty decent, especially against a defense that we know is a top tier caliber for the Cowboys when they're playing well. So really not a big thing for Washington. I mean, it is their final game of the season. They are in the off season now, getting ready to rebuild. Probably biggest things is what's going to go on with the coaching staff. I believe there was a report that came out in the Washington Post that a lot of players were kind of concerned with the play calling from Scott Turner. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with that, because this is another year that they underperformed. And I actually believe that they had a good chance this year. They played well with Taylor Heineke, but again, I think Carson Wentz is done. And so, again, they're in the offseason searching for an answer at quarterback, which has got to be exhausting to do this every single year. But then also we'll see what happens as far as ownership as well, because we know Daniel Snyder they haven't talked about it in a while, but there was reports that he was possibly contemplating selling the team, and there were some bids from some people. So I'm sure that'll be all the talk in the offseason. Cowboys just need to kind of rein it in for it to be their final game, getting ready to go into the wild card weekend. Playing the way they played was not a good thing. All 3 units played pretty poorly. I would say the defense played the best out of the 3. But I did expect a little bit more since they were playing against a rookie third-string quarterback. But it was really the special teams and the offense just really couldn't get started. Dallas picked up only 1 first down in the first 6 drives, which included an interception, pick 6 that Dak threw to cornerback Kendall Fuller. After the previous play before, Kendall Fuller dropped a pick 6 before, and Dak decided to go back that way again, and it just didn't end up well. And Dak is just having a hard time with the interceptions. Again, I'll be the first one to say that not all of them are on him, but this last game it just didn't look good. He leads the league in interceptions with 15. I think he's tied with Davis Mills with 15, and he only played in, I believe, 12 games. He missed at least 5 with a thumb injury. So that's a concern for them. That's something that, of course, they're going to have to shore up. They went 3 and out on 6 of their second half possessions. It just all in all wasn't good. The run game didn't get started. Like I said, Malik Davis had 5 carries for 19 yards, and he was the leading rusher. Cowboys only averaged 2.4 yards per rush yard, 64 yards on 27 carries, and they just finished as a whole 182 yards and 2 turnovers on offense. So it was hard for them to really get anything going. And then, like I said, the special teams didn't really help them out. Punter fumbled a snap on 4th and 2 on the Dallas' 33-yard line. Then he got tackled for a 13-yard loss, which gave the Commanders great field position. I think they said Sam Howell's first throw as a NFL quarterback went for a touchdown to Terry McLaurin for 16 yards. So it just didn't start well. Then Kayvon Turnip muffed the punt in the first quarter, which also gave Washington an extra possession. So it was just not a good look for them. They have a week to get it together. They'll be playing against Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay, since they are the 5 seed. Tampa Bay is the 4 seed since they won the NFC South. These teams did play against each other on the first game of the season. And Dallas lost to Tampa Bay 19-3, but we know that there's a big difference between both of those teams from that time. I expect Dallas to win, but you can never, ever, ever, ever count out Tom Brady. And even in their last game, they seem to get a little bit of continuity with him and Mike Evans. Mike Evans had a monster game. I can't remember if it was the last game of the week before. So they still have the talent. It's just that they haven't really been able to put it together all year. And who knows when you're down in Tampa, how it's going to go. And we all know what the words and the stories are going to be if Dallas loses this game. It's not going to be a fun offseason for a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans and players and coaches and probably front office as well. So it's going to be interesting. I expect them to win, but I'll be watching that game Monday night very closely to see what happens. On the other side, the Philadelphia Eagles played against the New York Giants. Philadelphia defeated the Giants 22-16. Jalen Hurts did come back. He was 20 of 35, 229 yards, 1 interception, and 9 carries for 13 yards. Boston Scott had 9 carries for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. And A.J. Brown had 4 receptions for 95 yards. On the other side, Davis Webb was 23 of 40, 168 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 carries for 41 yards and 1 touchdown. Gary Brightwell had 11 carries for 60 yards and 1 reception for 3 yards. And Kenny Golladay had 2 receptions for 30 yards and 1 touchdown. I'll start with New York. Won't say too much about it because they didn't play any of their starters. Like I said, Daniel Jones didn't play. Saquon Barkley didn't play. A lot of their, number 1 wide receivers, that's what they are this year. A lot of them didn't play. So really can't judge them pretty much on that. They did a lot with their backups against the Philadelphia Eagles team who did play their starters. So that was kind of concerning for the Eagles as well. But the Giants are going to the playoffs. That's why they rested a lot of their players. They didn't have any opportunity to move in seeding, so it didn't make sense for them to play. They'll be the 6th seed, and they'll go against the Minnesota Vikings. So they'll be going up to Minnesota, which is actually a winnable game for them. We know Minnesota has been, I don't even know what you want to call it. I don't want to say up and down because, they won at least 12 games, maybe 13 games this year, but a lot of them were 1-possession games. And then the games they lost, they really got blown out. And then they played the Giants not too long ago, and it was pretty close. So it's going to be an interesting game for them. On the other side, the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts came back from a shoulder injury. He looked decent. I mean, I think with him not playing for 2 weeks, and I think he just started throwing that Thursday before the game. He looked decent. A.J. Brown got the first pass of the game. He actually broke the single season record for receiving yards. And Devontae Smith broke the single season record for catches by a wide receiver. So shows you that they did a lot this season throwing the ball. Jalen's been pretty accurate. Although, like I said, this game he wasn't that accurate, but of course coming back from the shoulder injury. The defense still playing lights out. I'm slightly concerned with the run defense again, just because, but I think that they just kind of chilled out on the game, to be completely honest. I don't think that they thought there was a way that they were going to lose this game. So they did sew up the number 1 seed in the NFC. So they'll have a bye going into this wild card weekend, which is very much needed. Chauncey Gardner Jr., I can't even say his name, but CJ Gardner Johnson came back from the lacerated kidney. Robert Quinn came back from a knee injury. Hopefully with this week off for having a bye, they get Lane Johnson back, who has an abdominal tear. So they had a lot of injuries, but they're working to get some of these key players back in, and having this week off is going to be a big thing. So they'll have the bye this week, so they'll be watching, of course, to see who they'll end up playing the following week. Good thing about having the number one seed, all home games, and we'll play against the lowest seed. But if everything shakes out the way it's supposed to shake out, as far as everybody wins the game that they're supposed to win, it seems like it'll be Philadelphia and Dallas in the second round. So it should be interesting to see what happens. Dallas does what they're supposed to do. And then the Vikings don't get upset. Or the 49ers don't get upset by the Seahawks, I believe. So then that way we'll see. Just to kind of go over what the playoff picture looks like right now for both in the AFC and in the NFC. The AFC playoffs as well, same thing, getting ready to start. So Miami snuck in at the last second. They'll be playing, they're the 7th seed. The Baltimore Ravens will be the 6th seed. The Los Angeles Chargers will be the 5th seed. Excuse me. The Jacksonville Jaguars won the AFC South. So they'll be the 4th seed. The Cincinnati Bengals will be the 3 seed. The Buffalo Bills will be the 2 seed. And the Kansas City Chiefs, the 1 seed. As normal, nothing's changed here. It goes to Kansas City. So their games are going to be Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Miami Dolphins will play at Buffalo. Sunday night, Baltimore Ravens will play against Cincinnati, who they just played this past week. And Saturday night, the Los Angeles Chargers will play against the Jacksonville Jaguars. On the NFC side, 7th seed was the Seattle Seahawks, 6th seed New York Giants, 5th seed Dallas Cowboys, 4th seed Tampa Bay Bucks, 3 seed Minnesota Vikings, 2 seed San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles as the 1 seed. So Saturday at 4:30, the Seahawks will play against San Francisco. Sunday at 4:30, the Giants will play against the Minnesota Vikings, and Monday night, 8:15, Dallas Cowboys will travel to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. So it's going to be very interesting. All of these games, I think, have good storylines. Like I said, Cincinnati and Baltimore just played against each other. Will Lamar Jackson play? Will he not play? Buffalo and Miami split the season this year, with Buffalo losing to them in Miami losing to them in Buffalo. So seeing how Miami reacts. Will Tua even play? Will Teddy Bridgewater even play? Because right now they're on their 3rd string quarterback with Skylar Thompson. The LA Chargers get into the playoffs for the first time with Justin Herbert. Jacksonville has, Trevor Lawrence looking good. Their offense is playing well. Doug Peterson is back. And I always thought Doug Peterson was a great coach. So I'm glad to see him still, being successful with his team, turning that around literally in 1 season is kind of crazy. So probably up for not defensive, for coach of the year. There's a lot of good candidates this year. Minnesota and New York, like I said, they played pretty close recently. Will Minnesota be able to play well, honestly? And then, the storyline, Dallas and Tampa, and then San Francisco and Seattle. Those NFC West games have always been crazy in the past. But I expect San Francisco to hold it down, even with Brock Purdy, their 3rd string quarterback. So it's just going to be all in all a great weekend. I'll be in front of the TV all weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure you won't be the only one. As we move from the NFL playoffs, and it's cool that the regular season is officially over. Look forward to next week's segment where folks will be going home. Ray, your thoughts on the Wizards? What you take on the Wizards this week?
They're back in full Wizards form. They're on a 3-game slide right now, following a 5-game winning streak. They dropped games to Milwaukee, OKC, and last night they lost to the Pelicans at home. Yeah, man, last night was probably the perfect combination of all their issues surfacing at once. Typically we'll see them, perform well in one area, but just kind of drastically underperform in another, and that'll cost them the game. Last night, they just wanted to show you their flexibility and versatility and failure. Turnovers, man, they had 20 turnovers, and the Pelicans scored 39 points off those 20 turnovers. I mean, when you're giving the ball up at that rate and allowing them to convert those turnovers, it's you're going to get results like you got last night. Also on Wizards Outlook, we talked a lot about the shot selection. some of those possessions and shots might as well be turnovers as well, because they're shooting terrible shots, and you're not rebounding, and you're not getting back on defense. So Pelicans took full advantage of that. Wilson brought up they got a lot of young athletic guys with fresh legs, and they took full advantage. In the half court as well. They got to the rim, just at will, and defending the paint has been an issue for them. We saw one of the most embarrassing efforts ever against the Nuggets earlier this season. They gave up 98 points in the paint. They gave up, I believe, 74 points in the paint last night. So, yeah, man, Cardell's pet peeve with them is they lack toughness inside, and it's showing. So, and if Cardell can see it, the scouts for other NBA teams can see it, and the jury is out. Just demolish them in the paint, and there'll be no resistance. So yeah, that's the story of the Wizards, man. It's really not much to talk about. We go over this stuff in our Wizards Outlook, and it's pretty much the same story every game. They turnovers, shot selection, not defending, not rebounding, and that's why they are where they are in the standings. And until a few of those things change, then the results aren't going to change.
All right, look, man, short and sweet. Again, there's not that too much to talk about when they're out here losing in the fashion that they are. They got 2 more games this week. See how that goes. You guys follow us on Wizards Outlook. You guys already know. We'll be talking to you a couple more times this week, hopefully with better news. But you guys know our mantra. We can only talk about what they give us to discuss. So it's in their hands. Take our first break here on the Focus TV, and we'll see you guys in just a bit. Welcome back to the Focus TV. All right, Cardell, college basketball segment. You up first.
Yes, sir. GW finally returned home from a long, distant road trip. They saw themselves in Hawaii and the Bahamas over the Christmas break. So this was the first home game in a long while. And they came out and gave the hometown fans a great performance, led by their defense, which is a far cry from crosstown from the NBA resident team, but that's a whole nother discussion. But look, GW, thanks to a stingy defense in the first half, especially defeating Massachusetts 81-73, improving to 8-8 on the season. Senior guard James Bishop led the way with the game-high 26 points and 5 assists on 8 of 13 shooting from the field, 4 of 7 from three-point range. Senior forward Ricky Lendo Jr. added 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 steals. Senior guard Brandon Adams posted 15 points and 5 assists, while Hunter Dean shined with 10 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 steals. UMass was led by Noah Fernandez, 13 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals. TJ Weeks Jr. added 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, while freshman RJ Lewis posted 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists off the bench. James Bishop just basically continued his all-conference level of play. He's been playing at that level all season. He torched the Minutemen with a game-high 26 points. I respectfully call him James Bishop the A10's James Harden, but in a positive way. It's due to the way he can shoot it from deep. He can break you down off the bounce, finish at the basket, as well as get to the line and hit his free throws at an efficient rate. But yeah, he's a very good playmaker. He has good court vision and can make any pass from anywhere on the court. He keeps opposing defenses on high alert when he has the ball. And against UMass, that was no different. Bishop was deadly efficient shooting the ball. Like I said, he shot 8 of 13 from the field, 4 of 7 from deep, 6 of 7 from the charity stripe. But with his shooting efficiency, it came traps and defenders overhelping for UMass, which allowed opportunities for Bishop to find Ricky Lendo Jr. and Hunter Dean for baskets, or he made a hockey pass to backcourt mate Brandon Adams, who to do his thing, and he found guys who scored. It resulted in a front court duo of Lendo Jr. and Hunter Dean combining for 26 points or 8 of 14 from the field. Bishop also did a good job of containing UMass leading scorer Noah Fernandez. I know what y'all thinking. That's different from James Harden. but college you got strapped. So he held Fernandez to 4-12 shooting from the field and 2-6 shooting from deep, while also helping force 4 turnovers from the senior floor general, the Minutemen. The first half defense was just beautiful basketball. I love what they did in the first half. It was something to see. GW trailed 14-11 at the 12-10 mark in the first half. They elevated their defensive execution to a level that UMass just wasn't prepared for. It overwhelmed them. They forced 8 of the Minutemen's 10 first half turnovers during the final 12-10 of the first half. They out-rebounded UMass 15-8 during that span and held UMass to 32.4% shooting from the field and 30.8% shooting from deep, with only 1 free throw attempt. That means they not only were they locking up, they weren't putting them on the line. They weren't using their hands and being sloppy with it. They were being disciplined. They were moving their feet. They were being physical. They were standing in front of guys, and they got plenty of stops. GW also scored 13 points off UMass 10 turnovers and had 5 steals and 3 blocks in the first half. The Colonials, thanks to the outstanding first half defense, built a 14-point halftime lead, 40-26, which UMass obviously didn't overcome. And their front court production from Ricky Lindo Jr., Hunter Dean, has been up and down. One guy might play well, the other guy might not play well, and then alternates depending on the game. And, a couple times they've been banged up. This is the game where they both really put it together, and it was if they can continue that throughout conference play, man, GW can really make some noise. They dominated the paint on both ends throughout the game. Lindo Jr. and Dean, like I said, they combined for 26 points, 23 rebounds, 6 steals, and 2 blocks. Whereas UMass starting front court, Isaac Conte and Brandon Martin combined for 12 points, which 0 for Martin, 12 rebounds, 1 steals, and 1 block. It was total domination from GW's full court. They played physical, they played smart, they brought great energy, got to their spots offensively, where they could be a threat to score, and we're everywhere defensively, literally everywhere. It's one of the best games together, and like I said, that's the type of impact they will need to bring game in, game out for GW to continue to just move up the ladder in the A10, get a high seeding in the A10 tournament, and take it from there. With an eye on not only just trying to win the A10 tournament, obviously you get to the NCAA tournament. George Washington improved to 2-1 in A10 conference play, and they will next host St. Louis this upcoming Saturday at 4 p.m.
All right, on to the Terps. Women's basketball, they've been stacked back-to-back conference wins to open the new year. Last week, they beat Rutgers. This past Saturday, they hosted Michigan State. They beat the Spartans 94-85. The Terps have had a thing with third quarters, 23-5 run in the third quarter to take control of this game. They outscored Michigan 32-11 in the period. The teams came out at halftime tied at 40. So that third quarter run was everything. Diamond Miller led the team scoring with 25 points. Cheyenne Sellers showed off her full game. She had 19 points, 6 boards, 5 assists. Lavender Briggs topped her previous Maryland high of 14 points against Minnesota with 15 points in this one. Matilda Elk led the Spartans with 20 points and 5 rebounds, while Moira Joyner, sorry, hope I didn't mess up your name, added 19 points and 8 boards. That's the 6th consecutive win for Maryland. They're 13-3 on the season. They're now 4-1 in conference play after starting Big Ten play 0-1. They'll face 6th-ranked Indiana on the road Thursday night before returning home to play Rutgers Sunday at 1 p.m. at the Xfinity Center. Going to take our second break. When we get back, see what Cardell has for us in Rapid Fire. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV as promised. Rapid Fire is here.
Oh, yeah. Start on the NFL side. The Commanders, they fired their offensive coordinator, Scott Turner. As reported by NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the Commanders fired offensive coordinator Scott Turner, who has been calling plays for the franchise in the last 2 seasons. Washington later announced the news with the statement from Coach Ron Rivera. I met with Coach Turner today and informed him that we will be moving in another direction going forward with the offensive coordinator position. Unfortunately, we did not live up to the expectations and standard that I expected to see from our offensive unit. I felt it was best for a fresh start at the coordinator position heading into next year. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Scott and thanked him for his 3 years of service to our organization. I wish Scott and his family all the best in the future. Despite Washington's 26-6 win against the Cowboys in the season finale, Tuesday's news obviously does not come as a complete surprise, as players have begun to voice their concern and frustration about the play calling following the Commanders' 24-10 loss to the Browns in Week 17. Logan Thomas, the Commanders tight end, told reporters after the Cleveland loss that he felt the team could be scoring more points than they had been based on the talent within the franchise. On Saturday, the Washington Post reported that close to a dozen players voiced their frustration about the offense, saying that it was predictable and touched on Turner's knack for deviating from the team's game plan. Octavia, start with you. What are your thoughts on Mr. Turner getting up out of there?
So obviously, I worked today, so I missed this news because I was talking about it and didn't even know it actually happened. So I'm 100% not surprised. It's like they have talent. Like, I'm sorry, like Terry McLaurin is talented. Brian Robertson Jr. is talented. Antonio Gibson is talented. Jahan Dotson. Like, they have a lot of offensive weapons and players that they have at their disposal. And it just never seems like that they have a good enough plan when it goes into it. Last year, it was that they would start games fast, and it kind of was this year too. They would start games, I say fast as a loose term, but in a decent way. And then it's like the second half, it just all switched for the bad, and you can only attribute that to coaching. When the Washington Post article came out, I pretty much knew it was a wrap then. When people are like actively voicing, and people were even asking for, I think, to remain anonymous when they were saying these things, I'm not surprised. The fan base has been calling for it all year, and they have to do something. If it wasn't going to be Ron Rivera, which I didn't think it would be, it has to make a change somewhere, because they're honestly too talented to be as bad as they are or was. And honestly, I don't really think they did that terrible this year. I actually expected for them to probably be worse just off of the strength of it being. And that's the sad part. It's just the strength of them being the Washington Commanders. I was about to say, for instance, but it's like you don't expect for them to do well. And in a year where the NFC East was very, very good, which means, like we all know, they played a lower caliber schedule, whatever you want to call it. You would have expected for them to do a little bit better, and especially in a game to get in the playoffs, to lose to the Browns, who had been struggling ever since Deshaun Watson came back, and even before that, with Jacoby Brissett. But it was definitely more visible when Deshaun came back because, of course, he hasn't played in years. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I wish them the best. I'm very interested to see who they get. Because this, to me, we're talking about playoffs and everything, but this is still around the time where, there's been a lot of coaches who've been let go. There's a lot of offensive coordinators. I think the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator got let go as well. So there's going to be a lot of turnaround and a lot of moving and shaking. So I'll be interested to see who they pick, because I think that's also their kind of Achilles heel. It's like they don't make good decisions when they pick these people sometimes. So I'll be interested to see who they pick. But to answer your question, no, I'm not surprised at all. I'm surprised it took them till Tuesday to do it. I'm surprised they didn't do it yesterday.
Right.
He did everything he could in his power to get that result, man. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Like Octavia pointed out, man, it's not like they're void of talent. They got guys that can get it done. But the results is not matching what they have at their disposal. So, at some point, somebody's got to be held accountable. And, and if the offense is sputtering, the guy in charge of that, you got to lay on the sword. So, yeah, I don't think it's a shock. I don't think anybody's going to be have picket signs protesting Scott Turner's firing. So yeah, hopefully they get somebody in there that can that can get the job done.
Wilson.
Not shocked. probably a couple years too late. Also, like he's not the lone reason that offense doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So I think that's like just part of the problem. Get a quarterback. Like
I said they
Scott
make
Turner's, Scott Turner's just a piece of it. He's a part of why it doesn't work for sure. Play calling's horrible. He runs away from stuff that works all too often. He suffers from the smartest person in the room at times, where it's like, hey, Team X said we dare you to run the ball, and you're like, I know Brian Robinson's cooking, but I'm gonna prove that we can throw it. Why? Sway, why?
Mm-hmm.
Just get 5 yards a pop. It's okay. Take what they give you. But again, quarterbacks, like, and we've seen that around the league. Everyone doesn't have one. Some teams don't have any. And Washington's one of those teams that don't have any. So you're going to be right back. So, like, while Scott Turner's a part of it, and he earned it, whoever picked the QBs for this year needs to go right out the door with Scott Turner. It's just my take. Y'all had all the stuff in the world and were like, Carson Wentz. For what you went through this year, you might as well just waited, made the trade for Jimmy G, and waited until he got healthy. Like, that's what you was about to do. So, I mean, you were in a – now we're talking about Derek Carr and all this other – you're still in QB hell. Nothing changed. But I guess if it makes you feel better, Scott Turner's gone. But
moving on to Division III in college basketball. Division III team postponed 2 games after 5 players were hurt in a workout. Suburban Chicago College postponed 2 men's basketball games after a rigorous workout sent 5 players to a hospital. Concordia University Chicago and River Forest also temporarily removed coach Steve Kohler, according to the Chicago Tribune. Athletic director Pete Nan sent a letter to parents Thursday explaining what happened after the late December trip to California, where the team played 2 games. He said the team was put through particularly high-intensity collegiate level of circuit training on December 31st. Quote, it has been alleged by some that the intensity and difficulty in Saturday's practice was a direct consequence of players breaking curfew while in California, Nan said. Our athletics program has zero tolerance for harassment or retaliatory actions of any kind, and reporting mechanisms are in place for students, coaches, and related stuff. Man wrote in this letter. The Division III Cougars postponed games. They were supposed to play Tuesday and Saturday. Ray, what are your thoughts on this?
I want to know what kind of workout they was doing and sent 5 players to the hospital. Now, yeah, without all the details, it's hard to make a judgment, and I don't want to downplay anything, but if he was doing something crazy and they genuinely weren't injured as a result, then yeah, something has to happen. But if they just had please forgive me, but if they just had a really tough practice and then afterwards they was like, I think I might need to go to the hospital. Well, what I'm trying to say is if they were genuinely hurt behind something that happened and the coach was being reckless, yeah, that's negligence at best. But if this is some type of, we're gonna get him in trouble because we practice hard type thing, then that's something else. And I mean it's not. And I'm only saying this because there's examples of this. Like a couple years ago in the NBA, Bulls players were openly complaining about the coach because he made them do push-ups. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. I don't want to come off insensitive or anything, but I mean, it is what it is, man. And I sorry to say I don't put anything past people nowadays in regards to this kind of stuff. You know, if you perform poorly, every coach I've ever had, that next practice was hell. It is what it is, man. Like you can't just accept mediocrity and people not performing up to standards. So That's my take on it. People can feel how they feel, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that, man. If he was being reckless and like really hazing these kids or doing something wild, then yeah, something needs to be done about that. But if it's that other thing, then God help us.
All right. To get further details on it, it said actually one remains hospitalized, so that kind of means he probably went overboard. And they said someone familiar with what happened, that players were suffering from conditions like lactic acidosis, rhabdomyolysis, and the latter of which the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention say can be caused by physical exertion. He said usually you see this sort of stuff in marathon runners, the soccer players, sort of endurance athletes. Yeah, that's all they giving right now. So I'm just trying to get further details on it. That wasn't there for Wilson. Thank you.
I was just happy you didn't call on me first. One. Two. More context would help, obviously, because it's this day and age, and anything is possible in this day and age on any level of the spectrum, right? So I'm with Ray in that case. I can see the side of it where power crazed coach goes a little overboard. I could see that side of it, or someone having a job in, as far as it goes with athletes and not being on top of everything and knowing everything they need to know. I can see that side of it. I can also see the side of it of where the part that just killed me was something that you would see in soccer players or in endurance runners. Oh man, so again, as Ray said, if it was malpractice, whoever's responsible should be dealt with accordingly, for sure. If it is something I can only imagine what happened in this day and age, where it's a couple hard practices, put your body in a place you're not used to being in, it's crazy. However, like you said, somebody's still hospitalized. But again, like, I don't know if it's something the case where maybe they've never been pushed that hard as a group to begin with, which again could be malpractice. If you haven't been pushed that hard and all of a sudden it's in the middle of the season, you got pushed that hard, it's probably kind of weird. Probably is a little bit negligent. But again, I don't know. That's wild. For the player that's still in the hospital, I wish him a speedy recovery. But again, like that last part you just said, you can go ahead on Octavia. I don't know, man. That's tough.
I'll tell you.
I'm not mature enough for this. I'm really not. Because like I will echo the same sentiments as you guys said. If it was something like malpractice wise, where you can have tangible evidence that he did something that was 100% wrong, I'm all for holding him accountable. But to me, what it sounds like, of course, without all of the information and just going off of what we see and what we've read, it just sounds like he made y'all run. And you just wasn't built for it, especially because it seems like from what it says is that they missed curfew when they were out of town at a game. And that's like one thing I've always known, like coaches really don't play with stuff like that. Like if you're supposed to be in a room at this time, that's the time you're supposed to be in there. If you're not, there are consequences. Again, when I say this, probably like I said, I'm not mature enough for the situation. Kids nowadays are soft. So I don't know. I can only go off the petty side of me right now. It's the only side that's like breaking through right now. They don't. I looked at the last person that was released. He don't look like he can run a lot. I just think he made them run a lot. I'm honest. Like I feel like he was probably out there on the track, like just go, like all day, just go until you pass out. I don't know. But again, like I said, this is just not knowing the ins and outs of everything. But just going off of my own previous experiences, since I've had those experiences where I felt like I wanted to die because my coach made me run a gajillion times around Prince George's Community College track and up and down those steps inside that gym. Yeah, I've been there. But hopefully they all recover well. Hopefully it was just like exhaustion. Their muscles cramped up or something. Hopefully they're all recovering well and they'll be fine. But I hope that they go in, they find, they actually investigate what's going on. Not just like, take one person's word, like actually find out what really happened. And just handle it accordingly, whichever way it goes.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I just want to see one thing. Bear with me, folks. I just want to see what their record is.
That
would tell me enough right there. Oh, they're actually winning. They're 8-2. So actually putting getting W's. Okay, but that's what I'm saying. So they winning. Gotta be some toughness there. So like what y'all said, man. If the coach went overboard, then which pretty much every coach I played for went overboard at one point in time. We just took it on the chin. And the parents and my parents and my teammates' parents were pretty much like, keep going overboard. They need it. It was just one of those things. It's not a big deal. I had some tough coaches that were big on the strength and condition and stuff. And you know what I'm saying? So my question is, if it got that grueling, why'd y'all keep running? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it got that bad, like, it was times in practice where we ran, like, I remember one practice we had where it was just a testy practice. It was the middle of the season, the dog days, we were just going. It was just, everybody was temperature flaring up. So coach got tired of it, just made us get on the line. And I look up, we done ran 15 suicides back to back. So after like a 3-hour practice, so now I'm getting, we started going at the coaches like, man, fuck you, like, we ain't running no more, like, started arguing, stopping the middle of the, and it was just like a whole revolt. But we had to get back on the line because he's like, do you want to still be on the team? So you like, damn. So you had to get back on, but we were standing up for ourselves. Long story short, we ran 30 suicides, all right, after the practice. And my thing is, if you was getting to that point where you felt like you had to go to the hospital, and that wasn't something where I felt like we had to go to the hospital. We just pissed we had to run all them damn suicides for a couple of our teammates who wouldn't shut up. But if you felt like that, why don't you just stop? Like, that's common sense. That's why I'm just like, I don't even want to hear why you, like, y'all young adults, y'all becoming grown men. Like, if you feel yourself about to tap out or whatever, like literally tap out, just stop. And like, F this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tripping. And then the coach got a decision to make. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't want a situation where it's like I'm trying to think, like Hank Gathers or a situation. I know it didn't happen the same way like Hamlin, where a player just falls out or something like that. If you know he's just tripping and stuff like that, you got the option to just stop and then go that route and then take it up however you need to take it up. Stand up for yourself. I remember years ago on Rutgers, it was a video leaked out of practice. Dude, Mike Rice, Coach Rice or something, was beaming the ball at the player's face, and they were just taking it. And I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? Just standing there, just getting fucked up by the ball because he was mad about how they were playing. I'm like, y'all should have beat the brakes off that coach. Like, seriously. So it still goes back to the main point. They just soft, man. Like,
I don't know.
You soft all around, bro. Like, you either gonna stand up for yourself or you gonna get through. Which one is it gonna be? Either way, it's a tough. You prove you're tough in one way or another. And maybe that's what he's trying to get out of you. And then also, the coaches I played for, if you break a curfew on the road, you just won't be on the team no more. You're gonna disappear, and we gonna be like, where the hell he go? And won't nobody know nothing but the coaches. So that's just how I go. You know what I mean? Like, I got a friend, Coach D1 now. He wasn't even getting minutes. He played last season, wasn't even getting minutes. He bucking at the coaches for some drills they had him do. The coach is like, Slim, you don't even play. Why are you talking? He kept talking. It's like, come on, put that man on a Greyhound. He was on a Greyhound cross country back home. Ain't heard of him. Ain't heard about him since. He gets real in college. So you gotta make a decision. But yeah, you gotta stand up for yourself. It still speaks to the softness and stuff. If you're going overboard, just like, nigga, I'm not running no more. You gonna do about it. You just get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Or you just endure it and get through it. But Yeah, these youngsters, man, it's just
I
different, man.
mean, it's like 20 people on their team. So if it was only 5 people, I don't see how they couldn't play. Just saying.
You don't see how they go.
I'm so intrigued now. Like I found their school website and everything. Like it's a lot of people on this team. It's like a lot of them. So there's like at least about 20 people in this picture.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
So if it was just 5 people, what about the other 15? Were they okay? Did everybody have to run? So it's just the 5. Y'all 5 couldn't make it. I'm just so confused now.
I tapped out at it was an injury from that typically comes from endurance athletes. That's when they lost me. That tapped me all the way out. I was gone. So I was
trying so hard to be a grown up, man, but
I can't.
Jesus Christ.
Like I was with them until it was like, oh, it was an injury from commonly seen with soccer players and marathon runners. So you ran.
It says 5 basketball players. And they postponed 2 games?
Wilson, like think about it. Like really think about this, the era we're in. We have NBA teams that don't practice no more. And they still low management and still complain. So what you think is happening at the like I feel for college coaches. I feel for them, bro. Like what I just tell you, close friend of mine. Keep in mind the dude that was talking, he don't play. I think you need to be more worried about getting on the court before you bark in practice. Like common sense would tell you that, man. Like
I just found 22 people in this roster.
Especially if we lost, we coming off a loss, like it's like I said, my man off Dark Knight mode. Like, what makes you think I want to hear you talk? And you trying to tell us how to do our job? You ain't even on the court helping us. Oh, you easily expendable. Get scholarship open, hit the transfer portal. In this day and age, the extra year important. Come on, dog. But that's it.
It was 22 people on this team. 22 people on this team.
And I've been there, like in practice, when I've had to run enough where, like, I physically have to tap out for reasons. And you stop.
Bills in California.
Like, you stop. Like Cardell said, you stop. You physically feel like you're about to be out. Again, it's the decision you make. But as Octavia said, the other 18 people on the team weren't in the hospital.
I don't know what happened.
I mean, you get through it. I mean, I just know I was pissed. I didn't want to see them niggas I had to, but I don't want to see y'all I have to, dog. Like, don't say hi to me on campus. Just keep it moving, dog, until we get to practice. And even then, only talk to me when you're trying to tell me somebody sent a screen or something like that. Like, it take me because we ran for other. It take me. Nah, man. And I think I speak for most hoopers. You don't mind running, but when you got to run for other people, it's like that clip went viral. The high school team, the football team, and they had like a 5 a.m. practice, and one of the dudes asleep. Coach was like, "Y'all go get them. Y'all gonna be running." The whole team came and banged on his door, got him up out of there. Like it's like that. Like we don't run for you, dog. Like I'll run for myself, but we're not running for you. There's gonna be problems. So
that's the worst.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
I'm paying for his crap. Oh no, it's problems, dog.
I got up like an adult. I was here, and my legs got to take this. My legs and lungs got to take an L because you can't wake up.
For sure, man. So we gonna move on, man. Speaking of, we're gonna go to college football, man. Obviously, everyone knows Georgia. Whew, man, they put it to TCU, winning back-to-back national championships. 65-7. It wasn't even much of a game, man. But now the talk is, can they win 3 in a row, which hasn't been done since 1936 season. Minnesota. They won the national championship in 1934, 35, and 36. Kirby Smart, the Bulldogs head coach, said we would have to evolve in order to take yet another ring. Smart was asked about it, and he said it's human nature to relax even for him. He's starting to think about the next one. I do think it's going to be much tougher. And I do think we're going to have to reinvent ourselves next year because you can't just stay the same. My question to all of you is: can Georgia win 3 in a row, and have they replaced Alabama as the standard top program in the country at this current time? Wilson.
I'm with them. They do got to they do have to get a little bit better. Quarterback, just get another level of quarterback. They'd be okay. Maybe some pass catchers be all right. We know that defense has been phenomenal. They've been walking around with NFL defense for like the last 3 years. Every time we get to the draft, them boys all go in the first 2 rounds. Like another school we used to talk about, like they just go. You had the Georgia kids after making plays in the first quarter, talking about what rounds they go into, and you want to know what? It wasn't just hearsay. It's a legit conversation. Whether it's Jalen Carter, some of the kids in the secondary, it's real. They could possibly go 3, but they might need a better quarterback because, let's be honest, if Bama had a little bit more of the talent they normally have, they probably would in that conversation. I don't think that Bama beats UGA this year for sure. I'm not saying that, but their quarterback was better than UGA's quarterback. However, Georgia had a better team. That's all I'm saying. So I'm with Kirby because what if you end up in that same situation and Bama's matches you everywhere? And then it was Bryce Young versus not the Knox Stetson or whatever versus him. Boy, we know how this is going. The game's decided right there. It's great. We'll play it, see what happens, but I'm with them. I'm interested to see if they could do it. I don't care what Nick Saban's talking about. I don't think Alabama's going to just go quietly away into the night. But yeah, I don't hear from TCU for quite a while. I don't hear from all these people that were like, we need to add more teams to college playoff. Bro, I literally just had that game on so I could watch the Ant-Man trailer.
I'll tell you.
That's funny. I literally had it on my computer on mute, and I was watching the Celtics game because I was like, I'm not watching this. But yeah, as far as them, can they do it again? I definitely think, of course, it's possible. I definitely think it's going to be hard, though. I think they said they're losing 15 players this year after losing the 15 last year, I think they said. So they're going to have to reload a lot. Like you said, Stetson Bennett is going to be gone for the quarterback play that he did provide. But like you said, I definitely do agree that they'll probably need a higher caliber of quarterback to sustain it. And then, Alabama, I think they said right now they have the #1 recruiting class coming up. So I'm sure Nick Saban is chomping at the bit to kind of get back, and especially because this is all the talk right now. Like, who's #1? Is Georgia? Is Alabama? I would say as of now, yes, Georgia. They won back-to-back, but I don't think Alabama is out of it at all. It's still Nick Saban. He's still around. I definitely think Kirby Smart and what he's doing with the program is phenomenal for them. But I'll be interested to see if they'll be able to do it. 3 is hard, but granted, I'll be honest, I don't watch enough college football to know like what other teams could be coming up the pipeline. But I know Georgia is definitely going to be in the running again. I think they said they're already preseason #1 ranked as of now. I think I just read that they said they start their winter workouts in 2 weeks. Like, it's like they're wasting no time. Like, you get no break. You get 2 weeks off, back to practice. So, that shows that they're definitely dedicated. And I think they said that a lot of the sophomores and juniors were already talking about what they need to do for next year. So I definitely think they're determined to do it. But I don't think it'll be an easy road because like you said, I don't think Alabama's just going to lay down and let that happen. I think I saw like a video or a TikTok about like 2 Alabama players said something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But that game last night was terrible. Like it was bad. Like they needed a mercy rule in the championship game. Like I don't have any other words.
Could have been worse. Could have been that Capital One. All right, Ray.
Man, I would love to see him go back to back to back. That's like you said, man, something that hasn't happened since the 30s. But then to do it in college, man, that's super impressive. Just because the high turnover. But yeah, they definitely gonna have to re-up. It's going to be tough because however big the target was on them this year, it's going to be even bigger next year. But I mean, I'm with Octavia. I don't really watch enough college football to know like who their threats are, but it can't possibly be many because they're a good football team, man. but yeah, I know Alabama is there. They're looking to to reclaim their seat, and it's just gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, man, if they pull it off, then kudos to them.
Yeah, my take on it is I'm interested to see where all the transfers can go, because I've seen how they flipped up. It's totally changed college basketball. Like you get enough season transfers, it could change your whole program, and you in the mix, like to win a lot, not just win your conference, but get to the tournament. And so I'm eager to see what happens with college football in that regard, because I think some big time quarterbacks already announced that they're transferring. I got to look at the list and whatnot, but like Wilson said, what if Georgia get one of them? And then again, like every time you win, that's more people gunning for you, especially in we can call it what it is. College football is not the most clean sport. It's a lot of BS behind the scenes. So I'm pretty sure other SEC teams, the Big Ten powers and all that, Pac-12, they're not happy that, during that on their watch, a team has repeated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, dang, we got to step our game up. Because now Bruce is looking at them like, what's up? What's going on over there that we can't accomplish? All this money we putting into this program and paying you. So, yeah, it's going to be that much harder. But, like I said, but the youngest that were part of the team but weren't really getting the heavy minutes, they're carrying the heavy load, they're going to be able to replace the guys going to the NFL. And as a competitor, you don't want this to fall apart when I finally get on. You want to keep it going, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to still be hungry, man. It's just, I think the transfer is going to be key. Who can come up and get the right transfers that can come in that program and elevate them, because that's experience. And that's one thing in the college level that separates, that's very pivotal, is experience, knowing what to do, knowing how, even just the atmosphere, know how to handle that. A freshman ain't ready for that. They could be like, oh man, starstruck, and then they messing up. Upperclassmen, guy that never been there, done that, just another game. So I'm eager to see that. Last question. We're gonna get up out of here. Oh boy, Kevin Durant. Well, we all know he reportedly will miss at least 2 weeks with the MCL sprain. Get healthy. Jimmy Butler fell into his knee on Sunday. Sprained his MCL. Look, KD's been at an MVP level, 29.7 points, 6.7 rebounds, 5.3 assists. And the Nets are 17-2 since November 27th. But in the past, since he became a Net, when he's out with injury, Brooklyn is 8-19 without him in the lineup. So he spoke about that, feeling like the team will be ready to keep it going without him. And also, he gave his input on fan culture. He said some have become entitled on how players approach the game and that they do not see everything the players go through every day. He said, we go as hard as we want to go. We go as hard as our bodies allow us to go at this point. They only see us when the games come on, but the travel, the practices, the shoot-arounds, we're constantly moving around. So every game's not going to be a high-intensity playoff game. It's going to be times where, as a fan, you're going to have to watch and see, oh, these guys traveled. This is the last game of a road trip. They may have to dig a little deeper to win this game. It might be a little sloppy tonight. KD also said that fans should start taking athletes for granted and putting pressure on them to live up to their standards. It's 7 to 8 games on the night, Durant said. You rarely get a day off as a fan from the NBA. So to learn to appreciate the grind that we go through and stop just looking at the money and expecting us to just perform for you and perform from those high expectations that you put on each one of us. And then the dialogue around the game where it be tense, diluted, it's narrative driven, it's agenda based, bias. We're starting to take a lot of stuff for granted. The NBA is one of them. Back on you, Octavian.
Kevin Durant crossed so much. like, do you want to be an NBA player or not? I don't even care what he has to say anymore at this point. Because the thing about it is, the same people that you criticizing, you were a fan just like they were before you got in the league. And I'm sure you felt the exact same way. And you're only saying this because now you're in the situation. But that's what they expect. They're paying for a product, and that's what they want to see. And yeah, it might bother you at times, and yeah, you may get in your feelings, but that's a part of the business. So my thing is, I just don't feel like he can separate himself from it. Like he gets so engulfed in what everybody else has to say about what he's doing, what he's not doing, instead of just going out there and playing and all of this whining about it. It's like, for what? So it's like you're gonna do what you want to do regardless, right? Okay, so you're gonna have your opinion, and the people that are gonna watch you, the people that pay you, the people that pay the networks, the people that help keep the product for you to be able to play as well, are gonna have opinions. So you can't just downplay everybody's opinion because you don't like it. But I wish him the health. I think they say he's going to be out for a month with the MCL's whatever injury to his knee. But I just hope this whole month he's not like on Twitter having think pieces, soliloquies and dialogues and essays and ECRs and BCRs and all types of stuff. Like, sir, be involved with your team as much as you can. Worry about them trying to win games when you're not there. Kyrie has to step it up a lot. We already know. Yes, they've been playing well, but like you already gave the statistics, they don't play well when he's not playing. So I don't want to hear, like, I don't feel like any other, like, not celebrity, any other like top basketball athlete complains this much. Like, I mean, LeBron complains, but I honestly feel like Kevin Durant complains way more than him. It's always something. He always in his feelings about something. Like, God damn, give it a rest. Like, I'm so tired of hearing about it because it's like every other week he has a problem with something. Be in the NBA or don't be in the NBA. I don't know what to tell you. I'm over it.
Right.
I really am.
Man, shut up and dribble, bro.
So
Like, honestly, man, like, like, dude, what do you want? Like, you can't have it both ways, man. You're getting paid $200 some odd million. You're one of the best players in the league. You're fully capable of meeting these expectations. Man up and be one of the best players in the league. It's that simple. Yeah, fans want the best product possible and all that. They don't know what players go through. Well, we do, because we've been in practices. We know y'all not working as hard as y'all can. Plain and simple. I ain't trying to hear none of that. And with all the accommodations that are being made to make it easier for y'all, as far as travel, all this treatment, all this other stuff, and then y'all still want to load manage, and like, you're missing games when you're healthy. So, like, honestly, man, like, how much easier do you want it to be? It's just frustrating, man. And like, I can imagine like a paying fan, like what they're going through. Like, you don't even know.
I ain't paying for it.
You don't even know like what if your favorite player is going to be available on a game-to-game basis. Like, that's horrible, man. Like, yeah. So I'm with Octavia, man. He cried too much. You know, great player, can't be denied, but yeah, man, that his mentality is why they got swept in the playoffs last year. I mean, he just don't seem to. I don't know, man. The talent is there, obviously, but it's something ain't clicking, man. Something is preventing him from going Super Saiyan. Like, I don't know, man. But this incessant whining, like, and it's infuriating. Like, dude, what are you complaining about every single day? Like, play basketball, man. Like, and I'm not saying just don't have an opinion on anything, but you gotta have an opinion on everything. Like, just go do your job. Plain and simple. Like, I'm over it at this point, man. You know, he's going to do what he do. Fans gonna do what they do, and that's just is what it is.
It's wild how we done got to a point. We growing up, the players felt obligated to come out and perform for fans. They would say that like I feel it's mandatory for me to show up and give my best performance because y'all paid to come see me play. To now, man, just be cool with whatever we bring out here. It's wild, dog. Like I could never. No, I'm glad I'm in the business we in because ain't no way here I'm paying to see an NBA game. You just don't know who's. No, not at all, Wilson.
The funniest part about this particular word salad from Mr. Durant, he don't even apply to these words. Dude hoops. So why are you even saying this stuff?
That's true.
Like you don't even apply to the crap coming out your mouth right now. You the same dude a couple weeks ago. Like you've been leading the Nets in minutes for people around the Nets. Been like people that cover Nets been asking why you play so much for a while. You got quotes there when Nash was there. Bro, I'm gonna play. So again, the words that come out your mouth. This is why literally when he talks, I just ignore it. I just look to see what he actually does. It doesn't make sense. He's talking about his work ethic or whatever. It doesn't match the words that word salad. The same dude on any given night. Like I don't think he's one of the dudes that he's sitting there. I think he has this thing sometimes where it's like he tries to put himself with the rest of his peers.
Has like a savior complex. Yeah,
and this isn't one of those times. If your peers all worked like you did, we all wouldn't have all this crap to say. But a bunch of your peers just call him out or be quiet. And you're probably not going to call him out, so just be quiet. But it doesn't add up. This word salad does not add up. Like, not at all. So you speaking for what? Some of your friends that are out here dogging it and not caring or whatever? Doesn't even make any, like, why? Again, it has nothing to do with you. Why are you talking about it? It just really, I'm trying to figure out, like, again, it's always just word salads, dog. It's just a whole bunch of nothing about something like. And when I think about dudes in the league that are dogging or whatever, he never comes to mind. That's not one of the dudes that come to mind. However, I could be wrong. I don't know. Just me personally, doesn't come to mind that he plays around with his craft. So what is these words they literally mean nothing to me because you don't subscribe to the crap that just came out your mouth. You're the weird dude on a freaking Wednesday night against a G League team that's trying to shoot 50, 40, 90 because something's wrong with you. So this word salad is irrelevant. I just, like the rest of you, when he talks, it's just whatever. But
and one ear out the other.
Why? Why?
Like, I just need him to be on TV on music.
Like, I don't even think he don't even approach the game the way he's talking about.
It's but now y'all see why I love Giannis. Because I think he embodies the spirit he approaches the game the right way and what we grew up watching. Like I would pay to see him play for sure. Like, and I know he's going to play, and I know what I'm gonna get from him. While everybody's trying to nitpick the skill and all that, I know he's giving me 30, 15, and like 5, and he give me everything he got every game. He's worth paying for. My thing about Kevin and other players who try to echo these things, like when you go in a restaurant, what if the head chef wasn't there, or what if they half-ass cooked your food? Would you be cool with that? Of course not. You're paying for, you came here to get a good meal, a good product. It's the same thing when people who come in. So, most of these people in these arenas don't have the money to even pay that, so they might save up bread just to put a smile on their kid's face to come see you play, and you're a little managing. Behind some BS injury, but I see you on the side in the street clothes jumping up and down and stuff like that. And it's like, you can't be that hurt if you're doing all that. That's the disgust you see from fans. And we're seeing a lack of defense. We're seeing that a lot of your peers aren't giving everything they got. They're cheating the game in a lot of ways when everything is at their disposal to thrive in the game if they really want it. Every damn thing, dog. It's never been an easier time. Like y'all have the red carpet laid out, and the red carpet's laid out for everybody, dudes who don't even fucking deserve it. So how you getting mad at fans for voicing their displeasure with the product on the floor? It's trash. It's not high quality. certain players are high quality. Kevin is one of them. But overall, it's hard to stay awake. Like last night, it's hard to watch these games. It's like, dog, y'all going just get in the way. I don't even want you to, I'm not even hoping for a stop. Just like slide and act like you're gonna get in the way. Then hopefully something happens. You see what I'm saying? It's just they cheating and they know they can get away with it for now. Because when that CBA come, I'm really hoping these owners, and they've been very quiet, so I know it's gonna get real. They've been very quiet. But look, you gotta look at it from both sides, man. I'm just one of the people that always, before I make a decision or react, I try to put myself in the other person's shoes, and that helped me. I feel like that helped me navigate what's fair and whatever decision I make moving forward. Too many people just look at it from their side. Homie, what if you was growing up, you wanted to see Kobe or KG or something, and they were always taking games off or giving half-ass effort or something like that? You would be disappointed. You will voice that. So why can't you understand that about your peers? This not even that hard, and like, yeah, I'm with y'all. He's crying. He's just crying too much, dog. I get it's the dog days. You ready for All-Star break? Speaking of All-Star break, y'all get the All-Star break, then y'all get like another week off, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got everything laid out, man. Like, man, dog, like, what more you want, man? Like, what more you want? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, dog, it goes to show you that no matter how much someone has, man, happiness is a choice, dog. Like, seriously. And it's clear my man ain't fully fulfilled or whatever it is, man, because he just got stopped with these rants, man. Like, dog, y'all winning, you hooping.
You out for a month, take a break.
Hey, look, just real quick. This statement came from somebody, just real quick, and this is why this is hilarious. Brooklyn's played 40 games this season, right? So this statement, what he was talking about, actions don't line up with it. He's played in 39 of those games. He's played 36 minutes a night this season. Why are you broaching this subject, sir? That's all I'm saying.
He just likes to be. I think he has
Like, leave your peers alone. Like, it's okay to not, because you can be like, hey, I'm one of y'all all you want to.
You're not.
You're not.
You're not, bro.
And that's what it is when he talks. That's why I just laugh, because his actions rarely align with the words. Someone who played in every game this season, the game you missed is because you just got hurt. 39 out of 40.
He got to accept things the way they are. You just got to accept your place in what it is. Like, that's why I think it's wrong to dumb yourself down. You work your way to get to a certain point. You ain't gotta be an asshole about it, but walk in what you are. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you don't appreciate that blessing, God will sure enough get that blessing to somebody that will. So that's all my thing is, man. And then also stay on social media if you can't handle people talking, man. Like,
and he can.
That's an option. You do not. You could literally pay somebody to run your social media accounts, and you could be mentally free and just hoop.
That man likes the chaos, dog. That's his choice.
He wants to be involved.
He likes the chaos.
It's like, bro, it's not that much stuff in the world to complain about. Like, you're a millionaire.
That's my point.
You are a gajillionaire.
At this,
like, they try to say, like, you know, they try to put it into like complex or whatever. Like, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a childhood game. It is like, call it what it is. It is.
Winning, dog. You won. What do you
But
mad?
like, I would kill to sit on the bench for however much whatever the minimum is.
What's the league minimum now? $1 million?
Probably like 3.
I'll be at every practice. You want me to do what now? Oh, okay. Come on.
But again, like that's just the weirdest part to me, man. Like, you're broaching the subject that got nothing to do with you.
And what frustrates me even more too is that because he's from here. And so, like, I know he got more sense than that. I know he got more sense than that.
That's the cool kid crowd stuff, man.
Like, I personally know he got more sense than that. Like,
hey, man. But
Look,
again,
man, it's about perspective, man. Like, look, we talk about how bad the Wizards playing, but don't get it twisted. Like, we're getting the NBA games free to come. You feel what I'm saying? Like, everybody do that. So it's an appreciation for that. but we still work hard to get that opportunity and stuff like that, man. All we asking is like, let's get maximum effort. We know it's 82 games. And like, don't get it twisted. Back in Jordan time, they had a quarter or a half where they didn't play with the part, but they flipped that damn switch. It wasn't a whole damn game. Like, all right, dog, we got to turn this up. This is crazy. You feel what I'm saying? Then if they played a bad stretch of games, Phil might be like, all right, y'all tired, y'all need a break, no practice. We ain't playing good enough not to practice. We practice. And they will make the team practice. We used to that type of standard, not this. Man, I got a hangnail, dog. I'm missing.
But that's what it is. It's a league-wide epidemic of I'll turn it on when I want to, versus like there's literally like a list of 10 folks that outside of them being injured, you can count on like they're going to be there, they take it seriously, and you're going to get every bang for your buck. And that's the problem. It was the other way around at one point. And it flipped on its head. And so again, if it doesn't subscribe to you, bro, this ain't the time to jump on a milk box and speak for everybody. If everybody's out here tripping, let them trip. Like, just let them trip.
The league don't even practice no more. They just do shoot arounds. They don't practice no more. It's just shoot arounds. They eliminated back-to-backs. Y'all have everything. Y'all living the life, dog. College players are looking at y'all like, damn, we wish we had it that way. And they don't even get paid unless they're on the NIL deal. Oh, yeah, so before we get out here, league minimum, it depends on your experience. So if you a rookie, it's a little over $1 million, and then 10 up to like 10 plus, you get almost $2 million.
Give me one season, I'm done. Retired.
Like y'all been saying, man, it's just the product has suffered, and it's going to continue to suffer until it goes back the other way. And again, man, for the owners to collectively be this quiet for the stuff that they paying for, if the fans feel this way, and the owners are the ones actually footing the bill, boy, when they get an opportunity to speak, it's going to be loud.
Look,
and it's just not public.
I'm going to put it to y'all three before this. How would y'all feel if y'all was Ted Leonsis right now? That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, man, that's why that, what's it called? That new sportsbook thing is opening.
I'm paying somebody $250 and read this.
Boy.
It'd be hard to sign that check. Like, son.
Yeah, that deposit gonna get held up.
My man out here paying somebody else to make sure that gets routed to that person's desk instead of his. Like, I don't even want to get on the phone. Want to thank y'all for tuning in this week. We appreciate y'all as always. Don't forget, new episodes of the Focus TV every Wednesday, as early as 9 a.m. They're on our Roku channel. If you got Roku television or device, all you have to do is type in the Focus TV in the search box, double tap OK on your remote. You've added the channel. Obviously, you get more than weekly installments of the Focus TV. You know, we got Wizards Outlook, Mystics Outlook. Shoot, DC United, apparently, man, like, it just started already. I swear that season comes by too quick. So there's other things going on, as always. And then, obviously, Friday nights, 10 p.m. on DC TV, Saturday at 4:30. Again, if y'all outside the city, you can watch it on dctv.org. And you can just stream it there. But y'all have a good week. We'll see you soon.